Yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo. What's going on? How's that audio? How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. If you're into that kind of thing. And if you're not, what can you do? Hey, Brian, how you doing? Maja, how you doing? Alexander, how you doing? Mr. Crockett, hello. Alicio, how you doing? I do. I'm back at home. Yeah, I am. I'm back at home, Mr. Guy. Where's my man, the Crypto Shredder? You guys got to check out his YouTube, dude. He just, in our chat room, just shredded this $2,000 trade in this EOS. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with this bad boy, but holy crap. Let me see if I can get a little chart for you guys before we get started, because this one was one of the better trades I've seen for a little bit. Hold on here. This guy's been just shredding this thing. Let me grab. Dude, he just shredded this thing. Let me find this thing. Oh, yeah. Yos. Dude, look at this thing go. This is one of the most gnarly runs you're going to see in a long time. Hot damn. Good, good, good. That is an NPF. If you've ever seen one, GSR is a good looking crypto too. Guys, welcome. Hope everybody's been having a fun time. It's been a fun week in the crypto world since I've seen you guys last. There's been some good action in some of the coins. Some of them have been duds, but right now you can see this EOS has been really the one that's just gone. I guess what would be the term? It's gone monk, right? Monk is probably the right term for when you go, and you triple up in a couple of days. So this one's been doing pretty good. If you go to his YouTube, the Crypto Shredder, you'll see him having a video on this thing, I'm sure, in any second. But you can see this thing's just gone monk. So kudos to you. That was his biggest trade he's ever made in cryptos, and that's pretty hot there. So let's take a second and talk a little bit about something that everybody has been asking me about, which is, what the heck is this kind of Bitcoin, Bitcoin gold thing that's been going down? So, one of the things with, the market itself in terms of the coins has been recently that there's been all these kind of forks, right? So what the heck is a fork, right? And so essentially it looks like what this Bitcoin gold is they're trying to make Bitcoin mining decentralized again, meaning that if you look, like even when I first started trading this, and there were still like random people still mining Bitcoin. So you'd be getting like some dude just in his house with a couple computers and be mining Bitcoin. And over the last, year or two, what you're starting to see is this monstrous move away from just individual people mining to actual entities. So like I was just reading the story where right now to mine Bitcoins, right, it's all about your cost of power, like the cost of energy. And so like I was just reading the story of like these guys in China that have like this computer factory farm next to a river because they're using the hydroelectric power from the river to sit there and mine Bitcoins. And so how's the regular person who's just got a computer ever supposed to get back into that game, right? They've essentially kind of cut everybody out of it. And so now what they've done is kind of fork this thing again, so that you got a more decentralized structure that's supposedly more democratic. But you know what it's going to do, or is it any good, or any of that stuff? Nobody knows. But that fork is coming up any day. They do it by block, so it's like block 49 something. That's when people will start to switch over and get their Bitcoin gold, and then now you'll have another fork in the road and a whole new cryptocurrency. So, like, how could you even trade this? How could you trade this? What could you do with it is a little bit tricky, because one of the things is you've been getting like kind of random notices from some of the exchanges that, they're going to support this or not support this, and then they kind of change their mind. I got this email from friggin' Kraken that's like, oh, we're not going to, accept this. And then next thing you know, they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to have some. And, before you know it, it's kind of just a free-for-all. And I noticed this happen with BCC also. So BCC is Bitcoin Cash. So this is not the first fork. This is the second fork in the road. So what we've got to do is think about this in terms of how can we trade this, right? So, if you have Bitcoin, then, supposedly at block 4910, whatever, you'll be allotted an X amount of Bitcoin gold. Now, for me, I'm not having a trade on this in terms of pre-fork, meaning like I'm adding extra Bitcoin to see if I can get more Bitcoin gold. I keep a certain amount of Bitcoin always in my pocket so I can trade altcoins, because all the altcoins, a majority of them are in pairs, right? So you need a certain amount of Bitcoin anyways for that. But what I tend to want to do is think about this in terms of, how did Bitcoin Cash go, right? And kind of use that as a potential roadmap. And so we don't know if this is, and by the way, this Bitcoin Cash looks ready to go right now. I'm in this thing. I just entered this thing right around here an hour or two ago, but it looks like it kind of rips over this 500 level. I'm going a little bit of a tangent, but if it rips over this 500 level, you may see 540, 600 relatively quickly. But let's talk a little bit about, let's get to our daily charts here, and let's look a little bit at the Bitcoin Cash when it first launched. So this thing was wild, and it's really hard to play, but I'm going to go with this kind of playbook in terms of the next one. So you can see the first couple days, this thing was all over the place. People got it. They spiked it that day, and then it came all the way back down. The same day it lost half its value. A couple days later, it was all the way back to where it started, right? And so you have to be prepared for that kind of stuff. When something's new and you don't have a roadmap in terms of price action, all you can do is trade the momentum, right? And so you've got to really watch this thing. If you get in this thing early and it starts spiking, don't hold on to this thinking it's going to go to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 or even $1,000. You got to take what you can get and then let it reemerge. Like, let it settle, okay? These things got to settle out, right? Stocks, cryptos, they're like people, right? They're like people. And so when you get a little extended, you've got to come all the way back down. But I would be fully prepared to, either catch a spike and then it come all the way back down, and then, you'll have to readjust. But one of the things that happened with Bitcoin Cash, and this was one of my best crypto trades I've personally made, is, you can see over here is, hold on right here. You can see like after it had settled, it started to peak up, and it made a really interesting pattern here. This is what we call, guys, and write this down. These are called NR7 candles. NR7 candles in trading is what it means, essentially narrow range candles. NR7 candles, even in trading, when you see it, when you get something with momentum and the range really tightens up to nothing, where you can see the body of the candles are almost non-existent, where the body of the candles are almost non-existent. See this? Like where you get like just a small movement. What this means is it's called range compression, okay? Range compression with NR7 candles. And when you see this, when you get multiple in the row after you get kind of like some momentum, what that is telling you is the compression is about to expand, okay? And so, you know, when this thing ramped up, you know, I took this thing on the breakout. I missed the original run because I was sleeping. And then, you know, I added this thing running around a little bit under 400. And I caught this really, by the way, I only had like 5-6 shares. And we caught a really, really nice run to 900. And it just happened in a couple days. And so I'm kind of using that roadmap again of, look, we don't know what Bitcoin Gold is necessarily going to do. It may just spike up and fade down. If it spikes up and holds its momentum, then we'll wait for that kind of first consolidation break on the opening range. But if it comes back down, we'll watch for this kind of range compression to start our next move, okay? And that can be really, really important. And some of these, especially in cryptos, range compression is really, really interesting. This is something that we've been talking about in the crypto chat for a long time. You know, we got that same kind of range compression again in BCC. We've been trading this thing again, but we got the same kind of range compression right down here. And when you saw this kind of pattern, see what happens here is you got this really loose pattern. And then it started to really tighten up. And this is a longer pattern. And so it tends to run a little bit longer than 3-4 days. You can see right here, this range compressed again. And it just got tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And, you know, now you're off to the races once again. But see this? See how tight the pattern got? When you got literally this range is $600, right? And you got this thing really tight all the way down to basically now this range was less than $60. And now you're kind of back off to the races on this thing. It's remounted its MAs. It's flagged out. And now you're starting to get this secondary run. So I'm kind of following this type of playbook. You know, everything I've read is, you know, some of the stuff says Bitcoin Gold is going to be junk. Some of it's going to be, some people say it's going to be hot. You know, one of my most astute students told me this Bitcoin Cash was junk a few days ago. And I'm like, yeah, it probably is, but it's still doubled in price, right? And so it doesn't really matter if something's junk or not. What we're going to be looking for is price action, right? Price is the only thing that pays in trading. And so this thing looks ready to go again, but that's how I want to handle this Bitcoin Gold. So you can see this is Bitcoin Gold futures. It looks like a Bitfinex. They're already kind of letting it trade on the futures, and you're already kind of seeing that type of price action. See how you got this like monster spike from 55 to 200, and then you came back and you consolidated here really nicely, and then you kind of pop back up. And so I've been kind of following this, and this it doesn't mean anything because right now it's just trading on Bitfinex, but we'll be following some of this roadmap today. Yeah, EOS, guys, has been flying. My boy Crypto Shredder's been all over it. They don't have EOS at Bittrex to trade, and so I haven't personally been able to shred it. It looks like they had it on Kraken, though, but I don't know about you guys, but Kraken has been impossible to make trades. I was trying to trade some Ethereum the other day. I hit the buy button 10 to 15 times on orders, and they all got rejected. And then I had this random damn order of, I don't even know, like 0.2 shares. I was trying to buy 25 shares. And I had this random order like 0.2 shares filled, and I can't even get rid of that thing. So I don't know what's going on with Kraken, but you may want to message them on Twitter or something and tell them to get their act together. I think that's probably a good idea. We are going to do that right now because these people are wasting our time. Because Kraken's one of the only spots where you can even short right now and they give you margins. So boom, 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 boom. Let's get. We'll let them know. But they are garbage, which is garbage with an entendre. They are no good right now. So if you got your money piled at crack, I take it out for a little bit. I only keep really 4 or 5 grand in there because they have margin. And so, you know, I didn't really need to use much, but they've been acting all sorts of funky here. This thing, guys, I keep an eye on this right here. But that's the way we're going to do this. Bitcoin, you know, Bitcoin Gold. One of the things to kind of remember is that, you know, they've got their own website here. So any kind of information you need in terms of, you know, what the roadmaps are of what they're really going to be doing, you'll be able to get with them. But you can see here, they kind of do a little bit of a comparison of really what's going on. Their algorithms, mining, half-swear. I don't even know what any of this stuff means. I just want to trade it and make money. And so, yeah, I've been going through, you know, I've been going through their little site to try to figure out, you know, what's going on. But I think our best bet is to really, really follow the BCC roadmap in terms of, you know, what's going to happen. And I've been watching these Bitcoin Gold futures to see if there's any good price action that's been coming out of it. But we won't know. But I will tell you this, that opening day, if you get some of your coins delivered, watch that first spike, right? If you see that big spike and you get some good money out of it, take it, let it settle, and then let the range tighten and come back, and, you know, you'll get some good shredding opportunity, because otherwise you don't have really anything. Let's take a look at what's happening with the rest of the market, and I'll answer your questions, and we'll get this thing going. So the Ethereum has just been really in the duds. What we've talked about is range, right? In absence of trend, there is little to no edge. And so the edge is always going to be when you start to get your trending. Your moving averages, your EMAs, everything works better when you're trending, either up or down. But in absence of that, what you have here is just really, really choppy trading. Whenever you think Ethereum's a sell, it bounces, and then whenever you think it's a buy, it kind of goes down. But the thing is, its range has been really tight, right? You know, if you actually kind of take out this random spike here, let's just pretend this doesn't exist, right? Close your eyes. Let's pretend this one day of upside never happened. Well, then if you really think about it, you're just kind of sitting in this range here from 310 to really kind of the 280s, 310 to 280. So it's been a really tight range. And doesn't compare to where you used to have $30 days on this thing, 30, you know, this was $60, $70 days. You know, this kind of tight range where you have like a $5, $10 range it's not even, you know, it's not even playable. But we have kind of our trend lines here. It's got to hold this trend line. If it doesn't, it may come down to 277. If it doesn't hold there, you know, you may see a date with the 200 SMA where it hasn't been really since the beginning of 2017. But this is a natural thing. With all this news that's happening with the Bitcoin and people wondering what's going on with this forkadork, you know, the money's kind of flown out of this thing and it's come back into the Bitcoin, and it's been staying in Bitcoin. So you're just getting this kind of run. So, you know, what we really need to see to break is a sustained break of this trend line. But even before you can get there, right, you can really just kind of fart around in this range here till that happens. It's not necessarily going to give us any juice till either right before the fork or once the fork is done and people get their coins, then you may see the shred coming back in. The range on this is still really wide, right? You know, you still have really a lot of room. And that just comes in from the fact that it went from, you know, $7 to $400, which is one of the really all-time moves in just crypto trading, stock trading, any type of trading. So we've got to come back and really let that thing develop. On the other side, though, I made a commitment to myself to stop trying to trade Ethereum every day since it's been stuck in a range, and trade a little bit more of this Bitcoin. Even though it's so damn pricey, it's still got all the movement. So we've been in this thing on the breakout here for the last couple days, and it's starting to shred. I think I got kind of a $7,000 mental target on this thing to kind of sell into. But this one looks still like it's the best of the trenders on this. And that's where the money's at. And so if you want to day trade something back and forth, this is still a much better bet than Ethereum or Litecoin, which is just in the dumper too. You can see this thing, if you look at this range, this is tight. It's going from about 54 to 57. I mean, it's frankly just untradeable at the moment. There's only a couple things you can do. You can either just kind of buy some and put a stop under the bottom of the range at like 48 and just sit around in it, or you could start to let this thing break out and then I'd rather chase a little bit of momentum with this type of instrument than sit there in dead money. And the reason is, like in stock trading, you have margin, right? All the brokers give you margin. You can get in and out really easily. That's the beauty of stock trading, But in cryptos, you get more range and more explosion when they're going, but there's no margin. And so like oftentimes if you're just kind of holding on to something and it's dead money, and say this thing is taking up a half your account or something because you got, a few hundred shares or whatever it might be. Well, now, you're just sitting around in dead money while the Bitcoin is starting to really, really ramp up. And so I would definitely look more away from some of these till they break out of range. But I will tell you this, that when the range breaks, you're going to get some nice action. It's just got to do it. It's starting to tighten up. It's more a matter of, is it going to happen this week or next week or, whatever. It's getting there. It's just got to kind of come out of that, range and get moving. And you'll see on the other ones, I mean, the rest of these are just kind of donezo. They haven't necessarily broke down. They're just in that tight range too. And so you can tell, like, it's just a wait and see. It's a wait and see game for almost all these other, I don't even know if you call these altcoins. They're not really penny stocks, but come on. There we go. Right? The Zcash is just sitting on its 200 SMA. If it starts to move, it starts to move. But do you really want to be stuck in something that hasn't moved at all since July, except for this one random spike that nobody could catch? Nah. XMR, same type of deal. The range is getting so tight, but if you just buy some, you're going to be stuck in this range. You need this thing not to just clear, but to hold, which means a higher high and a higher low. So not only does it have to clear, as you don't want any fake outs, you've got to watch that first dip, guys. On any type of range break, remember this for the rest of your life. On any type of break of range in trading, it's not the actual break of range that gives you confirmation that the movement is happening. It's the first dip. If the first dip holds above the breakout, then you have the opportunity to, now you have the confirmation that the move is real. Otherwise, you may just get kind of this one-day pop and then it just dies down, which has happened to a couple times. This OMG, nothing, right? You can see it's had so many head fakes. Pops up, and then, right, first dip can't hold. Pops up, first dip can't hold. If the first dip can't hold, it's no good. Ethereum Classic, dead. The Ripple, always dead, minus this kind of random spike here. It does have a nice range, though. Some people like to trade this in the range where they kind of scoop it up at 15, 18 cents, and then they kind of sell it in the spike for a 10-cent gain, which is totally fine. I'll tell you what, this Monaco looked like it could have taken the range, but this is the classic example of if the watch hitting the first dip versus trying to necessarily time it on the breakout. Like when this thing broke out right here, I'm like, oh, maybe this thing goes, right? But you can see like it just kind of, and then it just died, right? It's not making a higher low, and that's the key. Trends are established via a higher high and a higher low. Trends are established via a higher high and a higher low. So not only do you have to make a new high like here, but then it's got to pull back a little bit, and it's got to hold that low's got to be higher than your previous low. Okay, that low's got to be higher than your previous low, and that's how like Bitcoin Cash. You can see you made this first push, and then see how the first dip. It dipped down. So it went from 500 all the way back down to 400. So it dipped down 25%. That low is higher than the previous low, the last time it dipped down, right? And so now you have a higher high and a higher low, and now you're good to go, right? That's your kind of confirmation that these things are for real. So I always, that's my kind of bread and butter. Let it break and then start getting involved once you get the higher low. And of course, you can always day trade this thing. If you get really momentum, you can start day trading these things for the first part. But that's how you get the confirmation, essentially, that something's holding. NIO. This thing's the ultimate tease. Let me tell you something about this damn thing. We had alerted this thing in the crypto chat. We alerted this thing in the crypto chat the other day. How do you change your indicators here? Indicator table. Man, whatever. Let's get this thing. So we had played this in the crypto chat the other day, and it looks so epic. Like so we alerted this thing. I got this thing on the breakout right here as this thing was breaking out, and it looked like it was breaking out on the daily. And this is the thing is it popped up $2.50. I only had a few hundred shares, but I was up like 600, 700 bucks. And then it just, dude, I wasn't even watching, I was like goofing around watching the herd on Fox Sports. Anybody watch the Colin Cowherd show? That's like always my thing, like in the morning, like while I'm trading. And I was watching something on it. And the next thing you know, you got this epic candle, like where it just goes from 32, and by the end of it, I was below my buy price. It happened so quick, and then it's just been kind of. I sold this thing flat, luckily, because now it's just been reshredding itself. So this thing is dead too, and this is what Chinese crypto, isn't it? So who knows what's going on over there, but you're not going to get. This is the thing. Once it starts to have its momentum, you'll know, but it's got to break this trend line and hold, right? Break the trend line. See how it does break, but it can't hold. It does have these big days, just can't hold it. So you can't hold it overnight or hold it for a swing till it does that. Of course, you can try to day trade the intraday patterns, which is totally fine. Because the intraday is a little bit different than a long-term type of trade. But if it doesn't break and hold, it's not going to run for multiple days. So always kind of be mindful of that. But otherwise, nothing's really going on in the markets, besides this EOS, which is, and this GRS. I keep missing this. I was staring at this thing on the breakout right here the other day. And this was right here. I'm like, oh, this looks kind of nice. And the next thing you know, I just had completely missed this fucker. But it's given quite a few opportunities to shred itself, even a bigger run than NIO, because this thing was just 10 cents, right? So you've got really some nice action in that. But beyond that, the rest of them have all been dead. Monacoin, not much action. IOP, it's getting tight, but no action. You can see it's just kind of dead right now. Trig, it had this one-day pop, but didn't break and hold, so it just came back. And cryptos, the break and hold is very, very important if you want to hold things for multiple days. That's right. That's right, Adam. You got it. So anybody got any questions? Not much going on. So game plan for this week, right up the BCC till the fork. Now, once that fork comes, the day of, I will have on my list up right in front of me, I'll have Ethereum, I'll have Litecoin, I'll have some of the other coins that I like to trade. And, as soon as that fork is loose and it's game time, I'll be watching for the range breaks on Ethereum and Litecoin and some of the other ones to see if they start to bust loose. Because what will happen, and this becomes tricky, is the secondary plays right now, because you're not getting the break and holds, right? The first dairy plays is where the action is. Like once they start to move, if you don't catch that initial rip, the secondary plays are not holding. And so you'll have to, boom, catch that first rip, but you don't want to hold it overnight yet because you don't know if it breaks and holds. Then watch that first dip. If it can hold, you get a higher low, it's off to the races. Then we're back in and we're in a trending environment where we can really, really get some shredding. The good thing is right now it's earnings season in the stock market. There are a million plays going on. There's more plays than I even have money to play every day. So the good thing about trading is all your skills are transferable. If you can trade cryptos, you can trade stocks. If you can trade stocks, you could easily trade cryptos. There's a lot more, action in the stocks right now. So check out every day in the morning, check out the earnings plays, the gappers, right? We aim for the gaps. We look and see if we start to develop a pattern, and then boom, we ride those earnings winners or losers to the short side. And that's been giving us some really, really good kind of shred opportunities. But, always got to go both ways. Guys, don't be a one-trick pony and just kind of be like, okay, well, I'm going to just trade these altcoins because if there's no action in them, then how are you going to make your income, right? If you want to do this for a living, then, we've got to be able to trade a little bit of everything. So let's open this thing up to some questions, and we'll be on next week when we got a little bit more, a little bit more stuff to do. But with the CME and CBOE all honing in on Bitcoin futures, what's the best recommendation? So the Bitcoin futures haven't gone live yet, on the CBOE. So we don't really know how it affects it. But I mean, obviously, the more traders you get, to trade something, the more volatility and the more liquidity you have. So I think that's good. JC David, being U.S. citizens, what exchange would you recommend with? So this is the thing, I think, when you're trading these coins, you need multiple exchanges. GDAX, which is hooked to your Coinbase, is the largest, safest, one with the most capitalization, the easiest platform to use, but you can only trade 3 coins. So I think you got to have an account there because they're the easiest to withdraw back to your bank account. Like, so if you have profits, you can send them back over to Coinbase, sell them, and get them deposited back in your bank account. So you have to have a Coinbase GDAX account. Now, so I do my big 3 trading there. The Ethereum, the Bitcoin, the Litecoin goes in and trades at GDAX, okay? Then I use Bittrex, which is, I think, the best exchange for altcoins because they have really the biggest list of coins and also the biggest list of stuff you can trade in USDT, which is not US dollar, but it's US dollar tethered. They have the largest list of USDT and also the largest list of pairs. Like, so those random coins that have like no volume and you're like, dude, I wonder what asshole is trading that. Those are all at Bittrex. And so I think that's the one where you'll have the best fills and liquidity. So I think you need at least 2 to be able to not just trade alts, but also the big 3. The other advantage of GDAX is if you are patient and you're able to, time your entries, you can trade at GDAX with minimal fees because if you do limit orders, they don't actually charge you a commission. Where like Bittrex, like, the other day, I'm trying to get out of this damn Neo. The commission on the sell on that was like $20. $20 up, $20 down. Imagine you do that 3-4 times a day. 40, 40, 40, $100. 5 days a week, $500, $2,000 a month. I mean, the commissions could just add up, and that's for trading small positions, right? That's a $7,000 to $10,000 position to charge you $20. Where like in stock trading, I traded this I shorted this CHKP today, CHKP. So I shorted this thing. Let me see if I can find a chart here. I shorted this thing at the open, and the commission on it was like $1. For CHKP. So this thing had bad earnings today. So you can see what happened. So I shorted this thing at the open, right around here, kind of this, a little bit above 107. So I got kind of in this 10. I had 300 shares at 107.96, 200 shares at 107.20s. And this thing got shredded down, but the trade itself, 100 shares, 27 cents. The trade itself cost me $1.50. And that's for a $60,000 worth of position, right? So it's like, we don't have that apparatus yet in cryptos where we can get really, really cheap commissions. But the one thing we can do is if we're going to trade the big ones like Bitcoin, you can do it on GDAX with minimal commissions as long as you use those limit orders. Crypto Shredder, how much did you spend on commissions? You know what? Bitfinex, they don't really allow, they're not really that open to having us US guys trade there. Like you can open an account there, but you can't get margin. You can't get a lot of the features like that the Canadians do. So it just happens to be, hold on one sec, it's one of my students. Yeah. Make sure you didn't have a trading emergency. Yo! What's going on? What can I do you for? You got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds, man. I'm on YouTube Live.
Sorry. I'll call you later.
What's wrong? Something bad happened?
No, we can take it later.
All right. Love it. Peace. You never know. He's from Sweden. European people always getting themselves in trouble. It's like 2 a.m. there. God knows what he's up to. Yes, Adam, you do need a sweet shredder name. So, guys, BitMEX, I've heard the good and bad things about BitMEX, but I think I got to just try it for myself because I got to just open an account there and see what's up. Poloniex. So, guys, Poloniex is the worst customer service. So I lost $8,000 randomly into thin air there and when I first started trading, I didn't know that USDT, which is in Poloniex, like it said, Bitcoin USDT. I thought that was just Bitcoin US dollar. And so I made $8,000. I'm sending it to Coinbase. Oh my God. And the money just disappeared because USD and USDT are not the same. It's my fault. But the money just disappeared. It took them 60 days to basically tell me to go fuck myself. And I said, well, I do that every night, so I would prefer you not to do it. And they're like, basically, the guy then took like 10 days to reply back. That was it. It's fucking nuts. Man, I'm going to open this BitMEX. See what's going on. So, JC, I'd stay away from the Poloniex. It's okay. I mean, some people you still get some good action on some of the altcoins. It's really just more a matter, if your money goes disappearing, you're never going to hear from anybody there. And that's always a little bit of worry in crypto trading, right? I've heard so many horror stories. So, JC, one of the things with a lot of these exchanges, they don't necessarily take US dollars because they're not banks, they're not regulated. And so what they do is you have to kind of like fund your account with Ethereum or Bitcoin, and then you have to sell it. Then you'll have this USDT, which is tethered to the US dollar, so it mimics it, but it's not US dollar. And then you can buy and sell stuff. Yeah, man, it was a painful, man. It's like my thinking was too, I don't mind losing money. If I make a stupid mistake, which I obviously did, but it's like, I would have rather just gave that money to charity or something. If I was going to piss away a bunch of money, I would have rather done something good with it. Gemini, they took a long time to get back to me when I was trying to open an account there. I heard good things about Gemini, I tried to open an account there, and it was like they had me do these verifications, and I was on hold with them basically for I was on hold with them for like a month waiting to get this verification. So I just ended up kind of bailing on this thing. Technically, U.S. traders aren't supposed to use it, but there's ways around it. Well, give us the ways around it, Blake. Come on. Don't be holding out on us. And JC, one of the things is just, try something. You never know, right? Try it out for a little bit, see if it's going to go. Yeah, HP, I use GDAX. Oh, I got like a 3rd grade reading level using VPNs and stuff. When I was in Europe, so I spent the summer in Spain with my sisters and the Oil Lord. You guys probably see the Oil Lord. He's the Bulls on Wall Street that types in every once in a while. So me and the Oil Lord and my sisters went to Spain, and I was trying to watch fucking Game of Thrones, and they don't let you log into your HBO account to watch Game of Thrones in Spain. So then they're like, use the VPN. So I sat there like trying to get these VPN maskers, and I felt so dirty, like I was breaking the law. So and I stopped. Yeah, JC, are you not listening? You got to have a GDAX and Bittrex account. I'm just hassling you, but you got to have them. I haven't had any problems with Coinbase. For the most part, look, all these exchanges are they're not going to be as slick as Ameritrade, right? With all the systems in place, or, Scottrade or something. So they all are a little bit slow, and a lot of them don't know what's going on all the time. But in cryptos, it's more about cream of the crap, right? What's the cream of the crap? And because it's all crap. All the exchanges have awful platforms, awful charting, awful liquidity, awful fills. But, GDAX, Coinbase kind of has, they kind of have the best ones. Bastion, when we're done, I'd rewind right to the kind of beginning of the webinar. We talked about Ethereum and Litecoin for a good 10 minutes. And there's not that many funny guys from India except Aziz. Bastion, I think after the 4, they may go. Just watch that kind of 310 mark on Ethereum. It's got to break and then hold. So remember, with trading, it's always about higher highs, higher lows. So once it breaks range, it's got to hold. The first dip has got to hold. If it dips and gets back into the range, then it's going to be, stuck for a while. Cool, guys. I got to go. I got things to do. I got class tonight in about an hour. So I'll see some of you guys in boot camp class. We are on class, 14 or something? So we got about 10 more to go, and we'll be good to go. So I'll see some of you guys tonight during class. The rest of your guys, boom, boom, boom. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Peace. Oh, and go check out the Crypto Shredders. He does live trading at night. He's awesome. He actually did a Halloween costume dressed up as my mentor yesterday, who's Paul Singh. And he literally did the whole webinar mimicking Paul Singh. It was pretty funny. But I'll see everybody tonight in his room. But before that, I'll be in class. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Peace.